license. The following content is provided under a Creative high-quality educational resources for free. To make a donation or view additional materials from hundreds of MIT courses, visit MIT OpenCourseWare at ocw.mit.edu.
So let's begin. Today we're going to continue the discussion on Ito calculus. So I briefly introduced you to Ito's lemma last time, but let's begin by reviewing it and stating it in a slightly more general form. Okay, so last time what we did was we did quadratic variation of Brownian motion. Brownian process, or I call it Brownian process. We defined the Brownian process, Brownian motion, and then showed that it has quadratic variation. Which can be written in this form. dB squared is equal to dt. And then we use that to show the simple form of Ito's lemma. Which says that if f is a function on the Brownian motion, then d of f is equal to f prime of dbt plus f double prime of dt. So this additional term was a characteristic of Ito calculus. In classical calculus, we only have this term, but we have this additional term. And if you remember, this happened exactly because of this quadratic variation. So let's review it. Let's do it in a slightly more general form. So assume now we have a function f depending on two variables, t and x. And we're interested in, we want to evaluate our, have information on the function ft bt. Okay. The second coordinate we're planning to put in the Brownian motion there. Then again, let's do the same analysis. Can we describe d of f in terms of the differentiations? So to do that, okay, just like this, let me start from Taylor expansion. So f at a point t plus delta t, x plus delta x, by Taylor expansion for two variables is f of t of x plus df partial of f over partial of t at t comma x of delta t plus x. Okay, so that's the first order terms. And then we have the second order terms. Then the third order terms and so on. So that's just Taylor expansion. If you look at it, we have a function f. We want to look at the difference of f when we change the first variable a little bit and the second variable a little bit. So it starts from f of t of x. In the first order terms, you take the partial derivatives. So take del f over del t and then multiply by the t difference. Second term, you take the partial derivative with respect to the second variable, partial f over partial x, and then multiply it by del x. That much is enough for classical calculus. But then, as we have seen before, we want to look at the second order term. So let's first write down what it is. That's exactly what happened in Taylor expansion, if you remember. If you don't remember, just believe me. That's 1 over 2 times takes the second part, second derivative partial. Okay, so let's write it in terms of, yes?
Let me go. Should that be just second derivative and positive first?
Oh, yeah, you're right. Okay. Yes. Is it good now? Yeah. Okay, so let's write it as dt, all this deltas. Just write like that. I'll just not write down t of x, and what we have is f plus del f over del t dt plus del f over del x dx plus the second order terms So the only important terms, first of all, these terms are important. But then if you want to use x equals b of t, so if you're now interested in f t comma b of t, or more generally, if you are interested in ft plus dt, fbt plus d of vt, then these terms are important. So if you subtract f of t of vt, what you get is these two terms, just del f over del t dt plus del f over